What's good, y'all? J Boogie in full effect mode. Bun down is the sound. You know how we do. This is, of course, the Lounge Presents, and we are live streaming here on YouTube. Hope everyone's having a good time. If you are in this part of the hemisphere, I guess you probably got some cold ass weather too. Shit is crazy, like super crazy. I know. Here in Canada, we're getting it. And I also know the States is getting it pretty tough still. So I think we're all feeling a very collective deep freeze. But we're here very specific for a very specific reason. Today in the lounge space, for the first time ever, we are welcoming an artist who I was able to connect with. I feel like in the last 1 or 2 years, right? I know we've got a mutual in Geneva, but when I was the first joint I heard from our guest today is actually the video that just dropped. This joint is called Nex Ting. Super dope joint. It was an immediate,
Yeah.
like I knew, once you hear, you know within a minute and a half, easy, if you can fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? So I heard that and I'm like, okay, yo, who is this? Who is this? And then I asked Geneva, Geneva, of course, the artist Geneva, who
Mhm.
we've had on the podcast as well. I asked, who's RX? What's going on? And then we just kind of went from there. And just now, like in the last past week, you dropped the video for the single Next Ting. You
I
are
did.
obvious. You're obviously one of the next thing coming up because you've got this vibrant joint out right now. It's popping. It's dope. The vibes are there, and I want to welcome you into the lounge space for the very first time, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up one time for RX.
Hey. Thank you for the intro. Yeah, it's nice to be on here. Nice to actually speak to you face to face, which
Yes,
is really cool. Yeah,
yes.
and it'll be nice to talk about what's next. So yeah.
See, it's interesting because after I heard Next Ting, I feel like I heard it like a year ago,
Hmm.
right? As I mentioned, within, I mean, and especially if you're a music lover or you've been involved in industry in any way whatsoever, on off top, like literally, I feel like most creatives, most artists that we both know, I'm sure, know within a minute and a half if that joint is gonna hit you.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? The
Hmm.
vibes were tough, they were there, and that's when I knew, okay, I want to hear more from RX. I want to know more about RX and see what's going on. I think we connected briefly about you getting you on the pod, but things happen when they happen because that's when they're supposed to happen.
Hmm.
So I'm glad we finally got you into the lounge space today.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here, and I know that as you were saying that you heard my song about a year ago. I actually released it in 2023, and I'll tell you why. Unfortunately,
Okay.
I didn't end up releasing the video for a while. I so the day that song came out, I actually found out that my cousin passed away, and she was also, close in age to me and everything. So even though I was trying my best to stick to the plan, the promo plan of of the song that just dropped, it was very hard for me emotionally to kind of celebrate an amazing release the same day that I found out that that happened. Um, RIP. I know that she's looking down. Proud of everything that I've done so far. And I'm happy that everyone actually finally gets to see the video because I've been sitting on it for a while, and I feel like everyone that was involved with the making of the video, also deserved their props. So yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
My condolences.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's
Yeah.
that's tough, especially
Mhm.
and I know you can relate, obviously, and a lot of people that check in with us regularly can relate. As creatives, when life starts lifing on you, you know
Mhm.
what I mean. Sometimes you've got to pivot.
Mhm.
sometimes a plan has to change because life be lifing, and that's definitely a really good example
Mhm.
of a major pivot. Um, Damn,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I think, really what it was kind of, obviously getting myself back to, where I was, my emotional baseline, and then, kind of figuring out, okay, well, now I've put out this single, like, what do I want to do next, right? I've put out a couple more singles since then, Heat Stroke and
Yep,
Who Do You Love, which
yep.
I, I'm very proud of, and I feel like
Fire,
recommend
fire.
represent me. So yeah, thank you.
See, and that's the best part is
Mhm.
is when you discover an artist and you feel like the vibes are there, and then you hear like further joints, and you're like, see, I told you that vibe was there. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's the best feeling. It's the best feeling for real. Now, your journey in music is obviously a storied one. I know you've been doing this for a minute now. How were you first introduced to the idea of making music?
My mom. My mom,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
my mom is a travel agent for people in the film, sports, and music industry.
Okay.
She is very well known in Toronto. She goes by Miss Links. So yeah, like she has, when I was younger, she brought me around a lot of pretty well-known people in the industry.
Okay.
I
Okay. Yep.
met like, Director X, Taj, I've met Drake, I was really just a little kid, like just in awe meeting these people and not really knowing, I wanted to do whatever they were doing. That's really what it was, right? I wanted
Yeah.
to be involved and I was like, how do I get there, and I taught myself how to play the guitar at a very young age.
Self-taught. Hey, what?
Yeah. Yeah, and, I put myself, I got, a minimum wage job, when I was younger, and I put myself through vocal lessons, with the man Falconer, shout out to Falconer. And, I just kind of worked my way up. I ended up, just hustling and meeting people, and, I ended up going out to LA, and I met a lot of really amazing people out there, honestly, that I really credit to helping me along my journey and gave me the opportunities to write for big artists like BTS and, Macy Gray. And yeah, it's just kind of been an upward journey since then, starting as a writer. And it's only now that I'm kind of, taking the steps to be the artist that I've wanted to be. So yeah.
No, no doubt. No doubt. Immediately, a couple things come to mind hearing you say what you're telling me. First off, I'm glad you mentioned the BTS. We were going to get to that.
Sorry.
No, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I mean, we're definitely going to get to that because that's I mean, it's a pretty major record.
Hmm.
Um, Now, one thing that I'm curious about was the exposure to people in the industry. Did that was that a catalyst of any sort, or did you already know that this is something you wanted to do?
Yeah, like after I taught myself how to play the guitar, I was just, writing music. I was writing music to, get through, traumas that I won't
Mm.
mention right now.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
yeah, it was an escape, and I kind of just had this, like, this access to a little window of, like, this is what it could be if you actually keep going,
Yeah.
and yeah, like I feel like, you know I'm sorry, I totally forgot your question. I just started going off on a tangent. Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. I was curious about whether or not meeting some of the people that you got to meet
Yes.
through your moms,
Yeah.
if there's any sort of catalyst in your decision making, or if you had already made the decision knowing that's what you were going to do.
So Specifically, now that you restated the question, I'm going to tell you a story about when I first met Chubbs through my mom
Okay.
because she had booked a hotel for him or something, and then she was like, "I want you to come meet him," like he's Drake's friend and everything. I was just like, "Okay." And at this time, I was making beats and songs through my little like Apple headphones, like recording
Okay.
my voice and like making beats on GarageBand. I was making
Hey,
yeah, I was making pop songs on GarageBand, so
hey, don't sleep on GarageBand. It's a great way to start.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
and I got to meet him, and he listened to the song. He ended up listening to it because I just had a big mouth, and something was mentioned between the conversation between him and my mom, and um, that they were talking about music, and I was just like, "Oh, I make music," and he was like, "Okay," and I was like, "Yeah, you want to hear?" Like, and I just pulled it up. I was like, I emailed myself the song. I was like, "Yeah," and I sent it. I showed it to him just on my phone, and he was like, "Oh, this is good." And he ended up he invited me to a session with P Rain, and or as
Okay.
we know now, Preem, yeah.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I remember just being in the studio, and they were working on his record at the time, and
Mhm.
then they set aside some time to record me. But in that moment, I was so nervous and I was so scared.
Mhm.
I kind of like froze up, and I didn't know what to do in the studio because, up until that point, I had been making music by myself. I
Yeah.
didn't have like the tools or the experience to, perform or doing any of the things that I know now, in front of people, right?
Yeah.
So I think, my ride home at that moment, I was like, man, like I really want to get so good that my talent is undeniable. Yeah. So I think that was definitely like a pivotal moment for me. So yeah.
That had to be a bit of a trip still, being in the studio and
Hmm.
having only made music on your laptop on GarageBand, and then suddenly you're in an actual full-fledged studio with
Like
artists,
really talented people,
right? And you're just there, just like, oh, here I am.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's. I mean, and I'm like, it's a great feeling.
Hmm.
Many creatives, especially if they're artists that lean towards more of a music situation, have felt that same sentiment. It's a
Hmm.
very rare feeling, right?
Hmm.
But it's unmistakable, and it almost says you're there, but not yet. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. And, I think that it was definitely a great lesson, because
yeah.
I was talking to Preem, when he was there, and I was super nervous, and he was standing outside with some of his friends, and he literally swung the door open, and he looks at me and he goes, "I believe in you." And like
Hey,
I was just like, man, like they're such good people, and I in that moment was like, okay, well, if somebody like this that's super talented can believe in me, like I must have something.
yeah,
And one thing that he told me that really resonated with me to this day is, 0 plus 0 equals 0. If you don't, as an
facts,
artist, put stuff out, if you don't
facts.
take the time to just create something, even if it's a verse, right? It's not going to amount to anything because nobody's ever
No,
gonna know. It's never gonna
yep,
come out of you. So yeah.
it's very true. It's very
Hmm.
true. As a creative, I'm sure you can relate with the feeling of whenever you birth something from the
Hmm.
womb, so to speak. As a creative, you almost can't help but look for that validation.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Even though you don't need it, but you do.
Right.
It's this weird, in between area where
Hmm.
you're like, if you put something out, if you did something was dope, it's dope. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and if it's whack.
Hmm.
But sometimes there's just that gnawing voice in the back of your head, like, I wonder what such and such would think about this, Joy.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Like when it comes to like validation, let's talk about that. Validation.
Yeah,
I wrote a song called Validation.
there you go.
Hopefully, that'll come out. That'll be nice. But I think that I wouldn't be at the level that I'm at now if I didn't have that validation along the way. Though I never leaned
Mm,
on it, though I
yeah,
never, I wasn't like, you know, okay, well, yes, I'm the best because this person said I'm the best and now my ego's so huge, right?
right, right.
Um, but, when you think about that, you should never take advice from someone that hasn't done anything that you've done, that you want to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
So it's important for sure, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, definitely don't let it inflate your ego to the point where
No,
you become like insufferable.
right, right. Like, okay, well, I know I'm dope, so fuck that.
Yeah.
Whatever I drop now is gonna be fire. So,
Yeah.
but the thing is, I mean, just creatives naturally look
Mhm,
for. I mean, we look for collaboration.
mhm.
We always look for feedback on something we're doing. Like it's just a natural. You know what I mean? We don't think about it.
Right.
It just
Yeah. I
happens.
mean, you show your friends and you show your family and I feel like especially as Canadians, we're very nice.
Yeah.
You know? And
Hell yeah, we are.
yeah, and I think that, there's definitely a beauty in that. There's a beauty in, uplifting the people around you, but,
Oh yeah.
there's also there's also beauty in having someone giving you constructive criticism that actually
Oh
cares
yeah.
about, you getting to the next level and like
Yes.
learning from what you've done in the past, right?
Yes.
Um, yeah, I definitely believe in mentorship, if we're talking about that, absolutely. I was mentored by two of the biggest producer songwriters in the world. Um, so yeah, I can attest to that.
Well, yeah, it's cyclical. The relationship is cyclical. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's a part of the creative process. It's just
Yeah.
you know. Now, one thing I'm curious about: what was being played around the home when you were growing up?
Um, so my mom had an old BMW. Okay, so like from the 90s, and
Okay,
she had it
classic.
painted like this like chrome color that like 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 look at it from one angle it's one color and you look
Mm-hmm.
at it from the
Mm-hmm.
next angle is a next color. Okay, so she had this car, right? And anywhere that we went, she would have like top 40 music playing, right? So
Okay.
she would have like
Okay.
Flow on,
Yeah.
and like any
Hey,
kind of
flow, salute flow,
99.9,
salute.
like Virgin Radio.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of that stuff I was, inspired by. She also, let me have my own TV in my room. So I would have like, much music on, like
Mm-hmm.
basically any kind of if there was a music video like channel, I would have it on, right? From that to, Disney, or not Disney, I guess it would be Family Channel, right? Because
Mm.
they would play their like, kind of like Disney music videos from
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
artists and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so a lot of like really mainstream stuff, I would say, and then old school R&B, a lot of that. And then I'm Caribbean, so my grandparents would have a lot of soca on, and yeah, I'm inspired by all that.
Okay. Makes
Hmm.
sense. Not that it doesn't show up in your music or anything.
Hmm.
How would you describe what you're trying to do with music?
I actually have been reading this book. Um, it's called The Artist's Way,
Okay.
and I think that one of the things that it's helped me discover is or rediscover anyways is why I make music. And I think, today I actually I was doing the exercise in the book and it unveiled to me that I care the most about making a positive impact on other people's lives. So,
Okay.
I want to make people dance. I want to make people happy. I want people to make babies to my music. I want people,
Hey.
be able to, just make out in a club to my music. Like I, have I feel like I'm very moody. I feel like, some of
Mm,
my songs are kind of like nostalgic and sad, but mostly I want people to hear my music and have it be upbeat and want to dance. Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I think you're on the right foot.
Thank you.
Straight up and down. Straight up and down. The Artist's Way, Spiritual Path to Higher Creativity.
Yes.
That's the
I
one.
highly, highly
Julia
recommend it
Cameron. Okay.
to, yeah, to anybody who's wanting to rediscover their creative path, especially if you have any type of like blockage or anything. You're a writer, you can't write, you're a musician and you're like, damn, like all these beats sound the same, like it's re-inspiring. That's the purpose of it.
I'm glad you bring that up.
Yeah.
When you get hit with writer's block, how do you work your way out of that?
Well, this is my exercise right now. That I picked up this book a few months ago. And it's actually a 12-week course. I took a break from it because, I had some things going on, but
Yes.
um, one of the exercises that it tells you to do is to write 3 pages every single day. Doesn't matter what you write, you just force it out of you. So whether you're writing, lyrics or you're just writing your thoughts or whatever, it what that exercise does is it just teaches you that you don't have to wait for inspiration to create, right? And then it also teaches you to accept that not everything that comes out of you is going to be gold.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Does that get frustrating sometimes when you find yourself feeling creative but not feeling particularly inspired?
The times where if I feel like I have writer's block or I can't create, what I will do is I will take a break. Like I'll force myself not to create, take
Yeah.
myself completely away from the studio. If
Yeah.
I'm traveling, I don't take my,
Good
recording
call.
setup or anything.
Yeah.
And then I just live, because
Yeah.
that's the only way that you can get re-inspired,
Yeah.
living, talking to people,
Living's
I
a great way.
yeah, like I've just met so many people during my travels that have amazing perspectives, and then I come back and write about it.
Speaking of meeting people, let's go back to this BTS joint.
Yeah.
Now, to have a BTS joint in your discography is no small feat. How did this come about?
So it came about because when I had first gone to LA,
Right.
I met a producer named Sleep D's,
Okay.
and he basically, when I flew back to Toronto, he asked me if I wanted to write for like some K-pop groups, right? So I, of course, said yes. I grew up in North York, right? So I definitely listened to K-pop, C-pop, J-pop when I was younger. And yeah, like I was like, why not? Ended up, writing a bunch of songs. We were pitching, pitching, pitching. And he asked me to send over some vocals for this song, and he sampled my voice in the song, which is amazing. And yeah, I I'm forever grateful for that opportunity. um I remember when the album actually came out, the day it came out, I think it was February 21st, 2020.
Mm.
He called me and he was like, "Yeah, congratulations, the album is out." Like, and he's like, Did you get the album?" And I was like, "No, like, what do you mean?" I didn't know, like, how it worked or whatever. It was my first
Yeah.
big placement,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
like, "No, you have to go to the store and buy the album." And I went to 3, I think I went to Walmart or something. I went to 3 Walmarts and they were all sold out for, like,
Oh.
days. Yeah. So I, finally got it, and I told my family. They got, like, all of the versions of the album and stuff, and it was really surreal, like, opening it up and seeing my name inside, like, the booklet. It's crazy. Yeah.
No, that's dope. Salute for that. I'm happy for you that you're able to, add that to your tool belt, right?
Thank you.
No,
Thank
for
you.
real. That's, I mean, if especially starting out, like to be able to, make that happen, you
Hmm.
know, a little earlier on. I mean, it bodes pretty well for the potential that you obviously have in your palm.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, the that album like definitely changed my life and my career, I would say. It gave me a lot of different opportunities, and it was the I believe it was like the biggest album in 2020 in the world.
Yeah, it's a
And
pretty big record.
yeah, and then after that, the year after, that's when I got the DM from Stargate. So they, yeah, DM'd me and they asked me if I wanted to come out to LA to like learn from them for a year. And I was like, I thought it was a scam. I
I
was
mean,
like,
I don't blame you, but like, damn.
I was like, they want to give me a $35,000 scholarship to like go to LA. Like, this sounds like what? And then I remember I actually was with my friend and I showed him and he was like, you don't know who Stargate is? Like, yeah, you do. Like, you have to
Oh, so
Google them. Like,
you
this
weren't
is,
familiar. You weren't familiar with the discography yet.
I wasn't familiar with the
Oh,
name,
okay,
right?
okay.
And then when I looked at the discography, I was
You
like,
realized, oh, I actually know who you are.
but it wasn't just the knowing who they were.
Mhm.
They produced my childhood. So when I'm
Yeah,
telling you that I listened to pop music and I loved pop music,
yeah,
that like they were the guys that like basically like, made all the songs from my childhood. So,
yeah.
yeah.
It's a major production team, that's for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, that's pretty sick. Let's just frame this for the folks. Let's just frame
Mhm.
this for the folks. Stargate DM'd you.
Yeah. On Instagram.
Let's work. God damn. That
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
What?
Definitely crazy. Definitely a crazy moment. And, I was about to like get kicked out of the US because like I almost overstayed my stay because
Yeah,
I wanted
yeah,
to
yeah,
be there to write. And,
yeah.
I was able to, thank God, come back to Canada and get a visa in 10 days to go back there to,
Oh, oh, yeah.
to learn from them. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about when you get those visas, you got to remember how much time you have. Seen a
Yeah.
lot of situations where people are like, "Oh, shh." You know what
Mm-mm.
I'm saying? Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
you got to stay on top of that when you're down there.
Yeah. Exactly. Hmm.
No, that's dope. That's so sick. You
Hmm.
you also have your hands in something else. You are an entrepreneur as well. Please share with us what you are doing.
Yeah, I am a co-founder of a company called SoundAdvice, and we do music mentorship events, retreats. So yeah, right now we're well, our next one is with Luis Barrera,
Okay.
and he is a huge, huge producer, engineer. And yeah, I'm excited. That's going to be down in Mexico. We have 10, I believe, participants coming down
Nice.
to learn from him for 3 days. And we try to do at least one like every couple months.
I love that you're doing this because it's obvious that as you're trying to climb the ladder yourself, you're trying to bring people with you. That's so sick.
Yeah,
I love that.
it was so my journey was, it was work, it was definitely like me, honing my craft and, learning along the way. But I wish that there was something like Sound Advice when I was younger, because
Right?
it made it so much easier for me.
Right?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
but then I just commend you more because of the fact that you know how much it would have been beneficial to your own career had it been in existence when you were coming up. And to
Mhm.
see you provide that opportunity for others, yo, respect.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
so dope. I love seeing that. That's so dope.
Mhm.
So Canadian of you.
Very nice. So yeah.
Plus, the what you're doing with sound advice. I mean, these types of camps, whether it's like what you're doing or whether they're writing camps, these are such great incubation, hubs for
Mhm.
artists to
Yeah.
collaborate, get some writing in, get themselves familiar, get people
Mhm.
familiar with them. You know what I mean? And these opportunities also did not exist until what, the last 5 years.
Exactly. And, I think that the industry itself is like, the Wizard of Oz, right? Like you
Yeah.
trying to make
Nice.
it down the yellow brick road, and you're
Yep.
trying to like see what's behind the curtain, and nobody wants to tell you, and I don't think
Yep.
that's fair at all. I think that what AI is doing right now is amazing and scary at the same time, because it's like, are you going to use it for good or are you going to use it for evil? But um
Yeah.
yeah. That's a whole other conversation,
I
but
was gonna say, wow, you just said the two letters that we could go on for the next 2 hours with that one.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
No, but for
exactly.
real. AI is what it is. We won't we'll touch that. We'll touch on that on another episode. How about
Mhm, mhm,
that? Look, all that matters is if you as an artist are using all the tools that are available to you now, that
mhm,
you can, that is a resource that you can reach for. God damn, make sure you are reaching for those resources, because
mhm,
artists that are coming up now didn't see the struggle that artists had to deal with 10, 20, 30 years ago.
mhm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
as you yourself said, something like sound advice being around when you were coming up sure as hell would have helped. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, I mean, every tool that's available to you, and I try to tell artists this all the time. Every tool that is available to you, make sure you're using them. Take advantage. Some of it is free. Some of
Mhm,
it is like 6 degrees away from you. Do you know what I mean?
mhm,
It's not as difficult to be able to put a project together in 2025 as one would think. You just,
mhm.
the tools are all there. You literally just please familiarize yourself with everything that's available to you, especially here in Canada, and
Mhm.
reach out and grab every tool that you can, because it'll only help your journey so
Yeah.
much more.
Yeah, and I think, not just that, but because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So if you see
Exactly.
someone that you look up to and you think that, okay, I want to do what they're doing, or I wonder how they got there or whatever, sending a DM or an email costs nothing, you know?
Exactly.
So, yeah, just ask.
And let's be honest, DM is the main form of communication now.
Yeah, exactly. Just be polite, like,
Yep.
don't be,
Yep.
like, rude. But
You ever get those DMs where like it came off as just mad ignorant, and you're like I don't know you and you don't know me, and you may not have meant to come across the way you did, but man, you came off like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I think in those cases, it's like, what I've experienced is just a lack of, research. Because
Yeah,
if you were asking me something and, if you just looked at my page for 5 more seconds, you would have gotten the answer, or changed your question, right?
you hear
Then
that? Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that?
But yeah, yeah.
That's like, to be honest, that's my favorite one.
Mhm,
Something
mm,
that if you just take 5 more minutes.
yeah,
Again,
exactly.
reach for the tools that are available to you. Trust me, in 5 minutes,
Mm,
that answer will show up.
mhm, exactly.
God damn.
Mhm.
Now we got the visuals for Next Ting out now. Next Ting is out. You've got a couple of other singles. When, or are you already in the midst of putting together a full length?
So I have a single in line right now.
Okay, okay, okay.
That was that was mixed by Phil Tan.
Oh,
Yes.
you see
He
what you see what you just did. Literally, it's like mixed by Phil Tan. FYI.
yeah, he is the sweetest guy. He's so nice. I never expected, somebody with that, you know, the amount of achievements that he
Pedigree.
has
Yeah,
to be just so awesome, so
yeah.
yeah, we I showed him the song and everything at one of our sound advice events, and he was using it basically to demonstrate his mixing skills to the
Hey,
class. And at the
okay.
end he was just like, hey, like, I want to finish this mix. And I was like, really? Okay. That would be awesome. So
Let's go.
yeah. So that's gonna be out soon.
Dope.
It's definitely down the R&B lane, and yeah, I'm excited for everyone to hear it. And then after that, full length wise, I will be creating an album, drum
Okay.
roll, with
Okay.
one and only Curtis Williams, who is the music director for Cool in the Gang. Yeah,
Wow.
and we've
Look at
started
you.
stuff, and it's incredible. It's like
God damn.
pop bangers after pop banger, like, yeah.
Hey,
And he can play like 8 instruments, so yeah,
that
I'm excited for
helps.
everyone to hear, yeah.
That
Mhm.
helps. Yo, respect. That's man. See, I love hearing that. That's
Thank
so sick.
you. Yeah,
For real.
thanks.
For real. Like there's so much joy in finding out that artists that you know are being able to make shit happen. Like you know what I mean? Like that translates like so well.
Mhm,
Just to see other people succeed. You know what I mean? Like it's just
mhm,
man, that's awesome. That's sick. I love
mhm.
it.
Thank
Have
you,
we got
yeah.
have we got a timeline?
I don't wanna put a timeline on it yet
No,
because
that's fair
we're
because we
yeah.
already know.
Yeah, we're in the midst of creating it, and,
Sweet.
I for me, like, I am, like, pretty organized. Like, I'm always like, "Okay, we're gonna make 1 song today, and then, by, like, in 2 weeks, we'll have 14 songs," and they're, like, so chill. They're like, "No, like, let's just let it breathe. Like, let if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't," and I just want to make as many songs as I can before we kind of like pick and choose, and then I will tell you guys everything. Yeah, you will know.
I'm curious on anything soon to be worked on. Are you
Mhm.
gonna pull the guitar out?
Probably on my project, yeah. Oh, I will say, so one song that is coming out this year, I worked on Curtis's album, and he's on the production side, and he got like
Okay.
a bunch of artists to uh do top lining on the production, right? So I'm one of the
Okay.
artists. I was only supposed to do one, but I wrote three for his project, and he's using one of the songs that we made as the lead single for it. So
Damn. Okay.
yeah, so that's coming out. It's
Oh,
like I said, a pop banger, and yeah, yeah.
you know that means you gotta come back, right?
Wait, what?
You know that means you gotta come back.
What does that mean?
Back on the pod.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whenever that is getting ready to drop, you know we need to get you back on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm hoping that they drop it for summer, because it
Okay.
is like definitely a summer,
It's a summer joint. Okay.
club. Yeah, like they even sent me over like some really dope remixes to it. Like he just like
Nice.
just no, didn't say anything, just sent it to me like over WhatsApp, and I was like, what is this? Hit play, and I was like, is that me? I was like, oh, it sounds like Europe.
Yo, that's
So
that's
cool.
pretty sick
Yeah.
because you know how much someone's feeling it if they're putting that much work into it,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, a lot of people that we've shown
Damn.
are like, "Ooh, this is yeah."
That's
So,
sick.
yeah,
That's
so
sick.
we'll see, yeah.
Okay, fuck. I can't
Mhm,
wait to hear this. I
mhm.
cannot wait to hear this. God damn. Well, RX, I dearly, dearly thank you for spending time with us in the lounge space. I'm glad we finally got to connect outside of DMs and comments. You know what
Fine.
I mean?
Yeah.
Yes. And most definitely I want you to know this is an open door for you. I've already basically said like you got to come back on, but I want you to know anytime that you've got something to promote, you've got something that you're going to be pushing out, yo, make sure you stop back into the lounge space,
We'll be
help you
back,
get the
of
word out.
course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
thank you so
definitely.
much.
How could we not help you get the word out? Come on now, the vibes are real. Let's go.
I appreciate
Jeez.
it, man.
No, for real. And
Mhm.
thank you for spending time with us. Much appreciated.
Of course.
The single out now, Next Ting visuals out right now. Make sure you cop it. Please share your socials.
Yes, on IG, it is at my name is RX. Yeah, that's where you can find me. My website, you can go to my website,
Website.
mynamesrx.com. And yeah, we'll see what's
There you
next.
go. There you go. Yo, RX, thank you again. Enough respect. Appreciate you.
No problem. All right, see you.
All right, peace.
Bye.